before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASIS strike.
You have done your work and put us to the wall. We are not your slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
...2024, and it's indeed a Democracy Day, and we're glad to be part of your lives. We'll be going straight to join the President as he addresses the nation on this very important day. Stay with us.
My fellow Nigerians, let me begin by congratulating all of us for witnessing the celebration of another Democracy Day today, the 12th day of June 2024. This year also marks our nation's 25 years of uninterrupted democratic governance. On this day, 31 years ago, we entered our rites of passage to becoming a true and enduring democratic society. Going through this passage was hard and dangerous. During the fateful 6 years that followed, we fought and struggled for our natural rights as human beings, put on this earth by the divine hand of our Creator. We lost great heroes and heroines along the way. In this struggle, the winner of June 12, 1993 presidential election, Chief MKO Abiola, the most significant symbol of our democratic struggle, his wife, Kudirat, General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, and Pa Alfred Iwani, amongst others, sacrificed their very lives. They bravely surrendered their fortunes so that our nation might have a better one. Let us honor the memories of Chief Anthony Enahoro, Chief Abraham Adesanya, Commodore Dan Sulaiman, Chief Athon Wanko, Chief Chukwuemeka Ezeibe, Admiral Ndibusi Kanu, Chief Frank Kokori, Chief Bola Ige, Chief Adekunle Ajasin, Chief Gani Udaudu, Chief Ayo Fasami, Chief Gani Fawemi, Chief Olabi Idrojaye, Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti, Chima Ubani, and others who have transited to higher realm. The sacrifices of General Alani Akinrade, Professor Bolaji Akeyemi, Professor Wole Soyinka, Chief Rab Obioha, Chief Colonel Adebayo, among many others, should never be forgotten. For at least 6 years, they bore the pain and difficulties of life in exile. While the exiled pro-democracy activists kept the fire burning, their comrades at home sustained the pressure on military leadership. Among the latter are Olisa Agbakoba, Femi Falana, Abdul Oro, Senator Shehu Sani, Governor Ubasani, Chibolu Falaye, and other National Democratic Coalition leaders such as Chief Ayo Adebanjo and Chief Ayo Padokun. The sacrifices, they made, and the precious gift brought about by their selfless devotion can never be repaid nor forgotten. We could not have won the battle against dictatorship without the irrepressible Nigerian journalists who mounted the barricades along with the pro-democracy activists. We celebrate them today, along with their media establishments, such as The Punch, The Guardian, National Concord, Tribune, The News and Tempo, and Tell magazines. The undemocratic government of the day proscribed these media establishments and jailed their journalists for standing for free speech and civil liberties and the sanctity of the June 12 elections. That's why the leather might of the authoritarian government, what appeared to be high and unyielding walls of dictatorship, came tumbling down. The dismal fortress exists no longer. The power of an idea, the power of the people proved more potent than all the guns, the munitions, and the threat of the strong men. The nation exited the yoke of dictatorship in 1999 to become the most populous democracy on African soil, the beacon of democratic self-determination for the black race and one of the largest democracies in the world. This change stands as a pivotal moment in human history. From this change, we shall never turn, nor shall annals of mankind's progress forget the sublime meaning of this great moment. Today, 25 years later, we celebrate the silver anniversary of our journey in democracy. We have studied the course. Democracy is neither a foreign nor abstract concept devoid of real-life meaning for us. Neither can we afford to reduce or minimize it to being nothing but the mere holding of periodic elections where one candidate and party outdo another. While elections attract democratic attention, they are but one aspect of democracy. Democracy is a way of life that encompasses a broad outlook of which elections are but a part. As such, a nation can have elections without being democratic, but a nation cannot be truly democratic without holding elections. That we have established a tradition of holding transparent, open, and fair elections gives credence to our democratic standing. That we have experienced peaceful transitions of government affirms our democratic temperament. Fellow Nigerians, true democracy shined its light on the daily lives of the people who live under its nurturing wings. It affords us the freedom and liberty to think as we want, live where we want, and pursue whatever legitimate endeavors suits us. Democracy does not assume some false or false unity of opinion. In fact, democracy assumes that conflicting ideas and differing opinions shall be the order of the day, given the diversity and variety of the human experience. There must be diverse perspectives and viewpoints. What democracy demands is that we do not resolve differences through force and repression, but to make allowance for the legitimacy of views that differ from our own. The other forms of government imposed against the will of the people. Democracy aims to make leaders who conduct themselves as servants of the common good, not as viceroys of the narrow interests of the might. My dear compatriots, Nigeria faced a decision of untold gravity 25 years ago, whether to veer towards better destination or continue aimlessly in fog of dictatorship. We made the right choice then. We must continue with that choice now. As Nigerians, we must remind ourselves that no matter how complicated democracy may be, it is the best form of governance in the long run. We must also be aware that there are those among us who will try to exploit current challenges to undermine, if not destroy, this democracy for which so much has already been given. This is the great battle of our day and the major reason we specially celebrate this day as Democracy Day. The true meaning of the day is not to focus solely on the great deeds of the past that have brought us to this point. Yes, we pay eternal honor to those who laid down their lives, sacrificing everything to pave the way for the nation. I stand uniquely placed in this regard, and I was among those who took the risk to midwife the birth of our democracy.
We don't like to eat better. More nutritious meals, more veggies, no cubes. That's the secret. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
President of this nation, I am morally to protect your rights, freedom, and liberty as citizens of Nigeria. Even more than that, I pledge to do whatever is necessary to cement democracy as our way of life. Although the challenges are steep and multiple, I am grateful to lead Nigeria at this moment in our history and point in our democratic journey. I come before you also to declare that our most important work remains before us. The real test has never been whether we will rise to the challenge, the sling of misfortune and grievous pains of dictatorship. The real test is whether we shall lower our guards and fail to defend democracy as the shadow of despotism and its evident physical danger fade. I say to you here and now that as we celebrate the enshrinement of our political democracy, let us commit ourselves to the fulfillment of equally important counterpart, the realization of our economic democracy. I understand the economic difficulties we face as a nation right now. Our economy has been in desperate need of reform for decades. It has been unbalanced because it was built on the flawed foundations and over-reliance on revenue from exploitation of oil. The reforms we have initiated are intended to create a stronger, better foundation for future growth. There is no doubt that the reform has occasioned hardship. I feel your pains. Yet, there are necessary repairs required to fix the economy over the long run so that everyone has access to economic opportunity, fair pay, and compensation for its endeavor and labor. As we continue to reform the economy, I shall always listen to the people and will never turn my back on you. In this spirit, we have negotiated in good faith and with open arms with organized labor on a new national minimum wage. We shall soon send our executive bill to the National Assembly to enshrine what has been agreed upon as part of our law for the next 5 years or less. In the face of labor's call for national strike, we did not seek to oppress or crack down on the workers as a dictatorial government of the past would have done. We chose the path of cooperation over conflict. Nobody was arrested or threatened. Instead, the labor leadership was invited to break bread and negotiate towards good faith resolution. Reasoned discussions and principled compromise are a hallmark of democracy. These themselves shall continue to animate my policies and interaction with the constituent part of our political economy. I take on this vital task without fear or favor, and I commit myself to this work until we have built a Nigeria where no man is oppressed. In the end, our national greatness will not be achieved by traversing or traveling the easy way. It can only be achieved by taking the right one. The words of American President Franklin Roosevelt sadly rings true, and I quote, "There are many ways of going forward, but only one way of standing still," and unquote. We dare not slumber, lest the good things awaiting our immediate future pass us by. We dare not plant our feet in the idle standstill in the middle of the intersection of hope and despair. We know the proper way forward, and we shall take it. The initial rays of a brighter tomorrow now appears on the horizon. An abundant future and our capacity to achieve that future lies within our reach. Democracy and the institution it begets over to take us to our profound destination. Let us board this progressive train together. And together, let us move Nigeria forward. Let's continue to keep the fire of democracy burning. Let's keep the torch lit for generations to come. May God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria and preserve our democracy. I wish us all happy Democracy Day.
Right, welcome back. You're still watching Africa's Finest Breakfast Show, Global Morning, and we just heard from the president of the biggest black nation in the world, Nigeria. That's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressing Nigerians as regards democracy Day. And there were some very key points as regards what democracy means, which I picked, which I felt was very interesting. He made comments about democracy being some democracy expects conflicting, opinions and not forced opinions. And so immediately just took me back to the national anthem, where it seemed to be a forced opinion and not necessarily, a democratic opinion, because the Nigerians didn't have the opportunity to have
a say,
to say whether yes we wanted it or not. Then he also made mention of Labour, the fact that they've agreed a very decent national minimum wage, which they'll be passing through to the National Assembly. So I think that was good enough. And he says it will last for 5 years or even less. So it means hopefully the federal government has plans to increase the national minimum wage before the next 5 years, which is also very key.
Oh, yes, and for me, I like the fact that he gave mention to the past presidents who ruled. He gave accolade to each and every one of them, and everyone who has fought for democracy. It's very important that because their families are watching. Democracy we celebrate today, there were individuals who had to take the fall in order for it to come to limelight. So I really appreciate the fact they gave accolades to Bola Ige and all of these persons that came on board to ensure, MK Abiola, everyone that came on board to ensure that we celebrate democracy today, which is what we all celebrate and we're all happy for at this point. And also the part where he said democracy is to take us to our destination. Together we will keep Nigeria, we will ensure Nigeria moves forward. For me, that is a sign of hope. That is a sign of everything is going to be fine with time. That's what I read in between that line.
For me, he talked about the reforms and how the reforms obviously is causing pains now, but hopefully would create an accessible economic opportunities for everyone where no Nigerian will be oppressed. And also taking reference from the former U.S. President Roosevelt. We're talking about the fact there are many ways to go forward, but just one way to stand still. And so let's hope that our standing still will definitely take us to the promised land. Well, we must give Mr. President a 9/10 in terms of the speech. It's quite moving.
It's home.
As far as remembering the past heroes, and also I was. I found it really interesting that I heard Shehu Sani's name among those, even though Shehu Sani did not agree with the new national anthem. So I think it was a good one. So it's almost time for us to run into the Global AM news so that we get you well informed as regards what's playing out across the globe and right here in Nigeria. After that, when we return, it's going to be a lot of goodies just for you.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
In an ever busy road, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely. Can we not say that because
that this country gets it right?
Who are these bandits? It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world,
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news info. The special advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, Ajiru Ngelale, has said that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has addressed the Nigerians today, June 12, Democracy Day. Ajiru disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday. According to him, television, radio, and other electronic media outlets are enjoined as they plug into the network services today, as Tinubu broadcasts, the statement read. Vice President Kashim Shettima is expected to be the special guest of honor at the 2024 Ojude Oba Festival in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, which is scheduled for June 8th. This announcement was made by the chairman of the planning committee, Olu Olkuboyejo, at a press conference held at the Heritage Hall, Awujele Palace in Ijebu-Ode. Minister of Power, Mr. Adebayo Adelabo, says the introduction of higher tariffs for Band A users has reduced electricity subsidy paid by the government from about 3 trillion naira to 1 trillion naira. Adelabo disclosed this at a public hearing on electricity tariffs in Abuja, organized by the House of Representatives Joint Committee on Power, Commerce, National Planning, and Delegated Legislation. The National Youth Service Corps says it will prosecute authors of the fake press release making rounds of a glitch that occurred on Saturday, June 8th. Regarding its registration portal, according to NYSC Director of Information and Public Relations, Eddie Migwa, the registration portal for Batch B prospective calls was closed after reaching the maximum number of registrations required for the incoming batch. The Nigerian Data Protection Commission says more than 1,000 financial institutions, schools, insurance companies, and consultancy firms are currently ongoing investigations for various degrees of breaches of citizens' data. The Commission's National Commissioner, Vincent Olatunji, revealed this during an interactive session with journalists to mark the first anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's signing into law of the Nigerian Data Protection Commission Act in Abuja. Olatunji revealed that 4 major banks and 3 other institutions have faced sanctions and incurred fines totaling 400 million naira for infractions related to breaches of citizens' data. The federal government has warned contractors against not being diligent with projects awarded to them. Minister of Works David Umahi gave the warning at a consultative meeting comprising stakeholders and contractors of road projects in Abuja. Sharon Ajay completes the report. We apologize that report will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has urged President Bola Tinubu's administration to build a democracy that will reduce frictions after elections, describing the numerous litigation that follows elections in the country as embarrassing. The former president spoke as the chairman of the Democracy Day public lecture with the theme 25 Years of Enduring Democracy, Prospects for the Future at the Old Banquet Hall Presidential Villa, Abuja. He noted that in the last 25 years, Nigeria has built an economy that was once the biggest economy in Africa adding that for democracy to yield dividends, the political actors must change their flamboyant lifestyle. The federal government has declared Wednesday, today, June 12, 2024, as a public holiday to mark this year Democracy Day. In a statement, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulated Nigerians on this occasion. The Nigerian Senate has passed the 2024 supplementary bill of 98.5 billion naira for the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The budget approval followed the consideration of a report by the Committee on FCT. The House of Representatives has been called upon to intervene in the alleged failure to swear in some newly elected members of the Plateau State House of Assembly. The plea followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by the member representing Wase Federal Constituency of Plateau State, Ahmed Wase, on the floor of the House during plenary. Wase noted that in 2023, the Court of Appeal hearing appeals arising from the judgment of the Plateau State Election Tribunal made decisions which resulted in the nullification of certificates of return of 16 sitting members of the Plateau State House of Assembly and ordered the issuance of new certificates of return to the new members by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Transportation, Saidu Alkali, for questioning over the frequent train mishap witnessed on the Abuja-Kaduna Railway corridor in recent times. This is sequel to the adoption of motion of urgent public importance brought to the floor during plenary by members representing Marikefi Guden Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, Umar Ajilo, making reference to Abuja-Kaduna passenger train that was skidded twice in the last 2 weeks with hundreds of passengers on board. Ajilo, a member of the People's Democratic Party, expressed worry over the incident, stating that across the world, rail transportation remains the safest mode of movement. The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Kemi Nandab, has announced plans to inaugurate a more accessible electronic visa application known as e-Visa, channel for short visits in line with the Nigeria Visa Policy 2020. Nandab said this in her address delivered at the graduation ceremony of the 12th Command Course of the Immigration Command and Staff College in Sokoto. The Comptroller General said the new channel is designed to streamline visa processes and also foster foreign direct investments with boosting tourism. You're watching AM News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When AM News returns, federal government begins conversation of railway locomotive engines from diesel to compressed natural gas. This and other more stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of AM News. Thank you for staying with us. Now, moving on now, the Minister of Transportation, Saidu Alkali, says the government has begun the conversion of railway locomotive engines from diesel to compressed natural gas, CNG. Saidu, who spoke at the Idu National Railway Station, Abuja, says that the government intends to drastically reduce the cost of maintenance as well as maintain a clean environment against carbon emissions. Senator Alkali says that the engine is going to work on 30% of diesel and 70% on gas. On our foreign scene, the United Nations Security Council has voted to support a U.S. proposed Israel-Gaza ceasefire plan. The proposal sets out conditions for a full and complete ceasefire, the release of hostages held at Hamas, the return of dead hostages remains, and exchange of Palestinian prisoners. 14 of the 15 Security Council members voted in favor of the U.S. drafted resolution. Russia abstained. The resolution states that Israel has accepted the ceasefire proposal and urged Hamas to agree to it too. In the meantime, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says if a ceasefire plan backed by the U.S. and UN does not progress, Hamas will be to blame. Blinken reiterated his call for Hamas to accept the plan as outlined by President Biden 11 days ago. He says it is the responsibility of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar to make the seat casting vote, stating that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had reaffirmed his commitment to the proposal when they held talks in Jerusalem. 4 United States University tutors are in hospital after they were stabbed by unknown assailants at a public park in China. The Iowa Cornell College instructors were injured in what the school called a serious incident during a daytime visit to the park in the northern province of Jilin. China's foreign minister says that none of the injured are in a life-threatening condition. Russia is reportedly sending thousands of migrants and foreign students to fight alongside its troops in the war against Ukraine for visa renewal. Some European officials have alleged that this is a move by Kremlin to add extra manpower using the tactics first deployed by the Wagner mercenary group. The report stated that Russia has been threatening not to extend the visas of African students and young workers unless they agree to join the military. Malawi's Vice President Solus Chalima has been killed in a plane crash after searchers located the wreckage of the aircraft in a foggy forest. This was revealed by Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera, who addressing the nation. The military plane carrying Chalima, 51, and 9 others disappeared on Monday after it failed to land in the northern city of Mazuzu due to bad weather and was told to return to the capital, Lilongwe. In business, the federal government has raised the alarm over the renewed smuggling of petroleum natural spirit, popularly called petrol, following a massive hike in the pump price of the commodity in neighboring countries. It stated that while the average price of petrol in Nigeria is about 701 per litre, the average cost of a product in neighboring countries stands at 1,787 naira per litre, a development that heightened PMS smuggling out of Nigeria in the past 2 weeks. However, Comptroller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, who disclosed this at a press conference in Yola, Adamawa State capital, said Nigeria has to join forces with the Office of the National Security Advisor to tackle the menace. Nigeria's daily crude oil production of 1.9 million barrels per day may dip over growing tension between Artro Exploration and Production Limited and its host community, Nembe Kingdom of OML 29. The neighbor Greek Techlin contributes 150,000 barrels per day of the higher grade crude to the daily oil production figures. The crude was formally launched in November last year as Nembe crude oil grade, distinguishing it from the Boni light crude oil grade. However, the growing face-off despite the recent inauguration of host community development, trust for communities in the Nembe oil fields by the Etro and the engagement of community-nominated diesel contractors. The Dangote refinery says it plans to release Premier Motor Spirit into the market this month would no longer be possible. The president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, told newsmen that the petrol from 650,000 barrels per day capacity refinery will be out in July. Dangote said this was due to some minor challenges, stating that the product will be out by July 10th to 15th. The Central Bank of Nigeria has again assured the banking public of the safety of their deposits in the banking system resilience. The Apex Bank Acting Director of Corporate Communications Department, Hakama Sidi Ali, gave the assurance in a statement in Abuja. Sidi Ali's statement was a response to concern in some quarters about the stability of some Nigerian banks in the wake of Heritage Bank PLC's license revocation. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has denied reports that it inflated the subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, by 3.3 trillion naira during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. It stated that the subsidy claims were verifiable, stressing that all relevant records on subsidy had been sent to the agencies in charge. The company, in a statement issued by its spokesperson, Olufemi Sonoye, said that it was not aware of any planned audit of its accounts, as alleged in a report earlier. Amid calls that the Band A tariff hike has reversed, the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission has approved a new tariff hike for the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company. The Commission permitted the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company to raise tariffs for Band A customers categorized as Maximum Demand 2 Special. Maximum demand customers are customers that have a load of 45 kVA and above, who also operate and maintain their dedicated transformers from 206 per kilowatt per hour. This category was customers within the Port Harcourt franchise will now pay 225 naira per kilowatt an hour. In sports, Nigerian Super Eagles have put up another showy performance in a 2-1 defeat to Benin Republic in the 2026 World Cup CAF qualifying Group C match, a day fixture at the Felix Hamkert Buggy in Abidjan. From a 1-1 draw against South Africa at the Godswill Apabio Stadium in Uyo 3 days earlier. The Super Eagles gave frustrated Nigerians a glimpse of hope by going in front of 27 minutes through Rafael Oyedike, who fired beautifully home from the edge of the box after being assisted by Samuel Chukwueze. 3 fans have been sentenced to 8 months in prison and banned from stadia for 2 years over the racist abuse of Vinicius Jr. at Mestalla in May 20, 2023. The incident, which took place during the Real Madrid's 1-0 La Liga defeat to Valencia, sparked uproar worldwide after the Brazil star identified the crowd had been racially abusing him, causing the game to be suspended. Vinicius later hit out the Spanish authorities, handing over the issue, saying racism is normal in La Liga, while the league called for greater powers to deal with the problem. The 3 fans were found guilty of a crime against moral integrity and aggravated by racially motivated discrimination. The Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL) has cracked down at the Yimba International FC, imposing a series of hefty sanctions following the club's conduct during the matchday 35 fixture against Radiance International FC held at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu. In a letter to Yimba dated June 10, signed by the NPFL Chief Operating Officer Davison Owumi, the league outlined multiple branches of its rule committed by Oyimba during the ill-fated encounter. The league says Oyimba was found in violation of the rule C9, having failed to ensure the proper conduct of its players, officials and supporters. The club was also cited for breaching rules B623, disrupting the transmission of a live broadcast. As excitement builds for UEFA Euro 2024, the Premier League once again asserts its dominance in the world of football by sending a staggering 103 players to represent their respective national team. This impressive delegation underscores the Premier League's reputation as a breathing ground for world-class talent and a significant influence on the international stage. As we end the AM News, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Central Bank of Nigeria has granted safety of depositors' funds. And on the foreign scene, Malawi Vice President, 9 others have been killed in a plane crash. 4 United States college instructors have been stabbed in public park in China. And in sports, Valencia fans have been jailed for racist abuse against Vinicius Jr. Eagles World Cup hopes have gone dim after a shock 2-1 Benin defeat. And that's it on AM News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again. Good morning.
busy road, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely, because
that this country gets it right.
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
In an ever-busy road, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodou. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodou on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely.
Can we not say that again?
Because
that this country gets it right?
who are these bandits?
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momadou. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momadou on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are the Palestinians. We are the Canaanites because
that this country gets it right.
who are these bandits?
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
All right, welcome back. You're still watching Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. It's a global morning, and today indeed is a very special day for the biggest black nation in the world, Nigeria. Today is Democracy Day, June 12th. If you fast track or backtrack, 1993 on this day was when the presidential election, the president-elect, talking about Moshood Abiola's, reign, was never meant to start because, first of all, the elections were annulled, and he was detained, and sadly he died in detention. And one man held sway, talking about the military dictatorship was in place at that time. All right, so we are looking at the highs and lows of Nigeria's democratic journey 25 years after. How far and how well have we gone? We've got in our live studios Oche Emmanuel, who is one of Nigeria's finest lawyers and also activist, joining us live in the studio to help us look at the highs and the lows. I'm not alone. I've got my Jimmy Mountain. So we're putting the guest in the middle of the park to make sure he gets all fired up for today's discourse. Oche, nice to have you in the studios.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, so let's begin our discourse looking at the highs and lows of Nigeria's 25 years of democratic journey. How will you describe, I don't know, if we start like the president did this morning, starting with probably the highs, mentioning those who had fought for Nigeria's democratic journey and ending it up with a label and reforms and hope for the future.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning once more. And may I have the privilege to congratulate Nigeria on their 25th anniversary. As a democratic country, it's something worth celebrating. And of course, we've had our high times and of course our low moments. Today, June 12th, it's a very remarkable day in the history of this country. First of all, we must thank the immediate past president, General Muhammadu Buhari, who changed the date for National Democracy Day from May 29th to June 12th. It's remarkable because in the annals of our country, it is clear that the day we fought, all Nigerians who lived within that period fought for the enthronement of democracy in this country was actually the day May, I think 1993, when Musu Humphrey and General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida conspired to set us back word instead of giving us the most popular president that we would have ever had, MKO Abiola of blessed memory. Having said that, it is clear that most Nigerians at that time eagerly wanted MKO Abiola to become the president at the moment because we were going through some of the most trying moments in the history of this country, Nigeria. Don't forget that it was coup upon successive coup, and it was almost like trial and error in the administration of this country. And when Babangida came up with his plans to transit from the military rule to civilian rule, Nigerians were hopeful and looking forward to having a democratic governance. But then, most Nigerians saw it coming when the likes of Bola Ige of blessed memory too described the parties that were formed at that time as 5 fingers of one leprous hand.
All right, I think not to cut you short, but I would like you to hold on. We'll go for a very quick break, and when we return, the discussion would continue. Stay with us. Welcome back from that quick break. Our producer says we had to take that very quick break, and that's what we had to do to, make sure everything came out really amazing. All right, we still have Ocha Emmanuel trying to let us in how the journey started. All right, you are at the point where Bola Ige did describe.
Yes, the political parties that were formed at the time as 5 fingers of one leprous hand. And that simply means that though they were political parties, but they were all working towards enthroning one president. And it turned out to be that the military government then were not willing to hand over to a democratically elected leadership. That culminated into so many struggles. The formation of NADECO, which the current president was a key player in that struggle. The likes of Nigerian Labour Congress president, as at that time, Comrade Pascal Bafouya, I think he's late now. Franco Kori and so many other persons. They were there on the trenches, ensuring that the military did not take Nigeria for a ride. Today, those heroes are fallen heroes. They have gone to articulate the future of Nigeria with our great-grandfathers beyond. And we are hoping that the struggle that they left behind will be sustained by those of us who are living. Now, fast forward to what we have now, beginning from President Olusegun Obasanjo, who came in and brought in a lot of reforms, including the telecommunications that we have and so many other things that he came up with. He was able to rejig the military, the security apparatus. In fact, if you recall, his tenure witnessed one of the most drastic downsizing of the military. In fact, most of the political military officers who had held political offices before he came in were all relieved of their position just to give professionalism to the military. And I think that has helped the military a great deal, because those who have eaten with their stomach filled from political appointments are no longer in the system to incite the younger folks in the military to take up arms and maybe stage coup and maybe change government. From there, we've had our best friend, President Yaradua, who came in and, of course, God called him to great beyond, and Jonathan, who did his own bit. Buhari, and then we have Tinubu. One thing I would like to say about the Tinubu administration is that 1 year in the life of any administration is enough for us to be able to assess the government. After all, in Nigerian system of governance, the constitution allows for only 4 years. And if you know how politics is practiced in this country, after the first 2 years, the remaining years is actually years of political engagements and intrigues, and then electioneering campaigns. So we are not likely going to see the last 1.5 years of this government concentrate on governance. We are likely going to see it trying to form structures that will enable her come back again to place. So in 1 year, what can we give to Tinubu? For some of us, you will agree with me that a lot has been done, but a lot more needs to be done by this government. In terms of corruption, he has taken the gauntlet and then taken some decisions, very drastic one, that has given some of us the confidence to say that if he can do a little more, then he will pass as one of the governments that have sustained the fight against corruption. Even more than the General Buhari's administration that came on the tripod of corruption, security, and economic revitalization. One, if you recall, at the early stage of this government, a minister was accused of corruption, Betty Edu, for instance. She was relieved of her appointment. Not just her, other principal appointees of this government were also accused and were asked to stay off from their appointments. Also, a governor, an immediate past governor in this administration was almost arrested, and he came up with all manner of shenanigans and escaped that arrest. But we know that at the right time he will be brought to book. And then there are retinue and panoply of instances where the Tinubu administration has summoned courage to prosecute corrupt officials. Don't forget, even currently, the immediate past minister for aviation also, Hadi Sirike, is on trial for alleged corruption, which I think he ought to be, because he brought this country to a very serious mess when he gave an impression that we were going to have our national career, and that never happened in the life of the previous government, and so much money went in there. Now, if you come to the issue of economy in Tinubu's administration, it has been trial and error. They have not been able to get it. And I'm shocked that with the understanding of Tinubu as an accountant himself, and someone who prided himself as one of the best and most knowledgeable candidate as he then was, someone who has worked with some of the best accounting firms in the country, and even one of the most thriving oil company. We expected that Tinubu coming on board as president will revitalize, will rejig, and then sustain the economy. So much more that Nigerians will begin to have a sigh of relief from what we had in the past government. But what we have had has been one step forward and then about 10 backward. And that has not stabilized the economy. Let us look at the dollar issue. He came up with a foreign policy that, in a way, helped the Naira to appreciate. And it has been a little forward, so many steps backward in terms of that dollar, and the stability has caused a lot of companies. Only recently, Guinness has given notice of their intention to leave the country. And if we have such company flight from Nigeria, automatically what it leads to is loss of jobs. And of course, our GDP too will be affected, and so many other things. And the confidence of the international community will also be eroded. And so it's a big problem for the Tinubu administration that came on board with some of the teams, the Lagos boys, that we thought were coming in to do the miracle. Unfortunately, they are not doing any miracle.
that clearly shows that Lagos is not Nigeria. And so he needs to open up the economic team and bring in more think tank to ensure that we have a much more robust economic team that will take this country to Eldorado.
If Lagos is not Nigeria, so can we also say Nigerians made a mistake voting President Bola Tinubu? Because one of the key things is Nigerians or the party used in pushing Nigerians to vote for him was the fact that he transformed Lagos and gave them a template which successive governors have followed, and that's why Lagos has been successful. So can we say Nigerians or the electors made a very huge mistake voting the president and his party, because his party has probably done more harm than good?
Well, on the strength of party, I may not be able to assert your perception, but on whether Nigerians have made a mistake voting Tinubu, I think the mistake is glaring, and you don't need a prophet to tell you that we would have had, if the options are available on the card now, I'm sure Nigerians would have...
there were no options in the last election to have the Labour Party also?
Well, there were options, but of course, you know what it is. In Nigerian political system, what counts is money. A governor in one of the states in the Second Republic was asked what it takes to win election, and he said it takes 3 things. 1 is money, 2 is money, 3 is money. And so he just came, bulldozed his way, and got what he got. But let us just leave that as history at the moment, because he is the current president. We expect that what Nigerians yearn for through him, he will begin to see it come to play in 1 year of his administration. But like I said, if we can't see it now, then it is most probably that we are not going to see much of what we expected from him in the years ahead, because soon they will go into political era.
All right, I want to look at the highs and the lows. Now, how do you think the highs and the lows of Nigeria's democratic journey influence the trust of Nigerians in this democratic process?
Well, let me tell you first, who are these Nigerians? You and I, right? And how are we faring? The question goes back to you. How are you faring the current government? How were you faring? And how has the current economic policy affected you compared to what it was? How much is the cup of Gary now?
Well, have this at the back of your mind that it's 25 years now in democracy.
Yes.
Of democracy.
Yes.
And a lot of people will tell you there is still hope. You have that freedom of levity, of speech to say whatever you want. Compared to the military regime, you cannot do all of these things. I just want you to just throw in more light when you have that at the back of your mind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was trying to start from the moment and then key onto what it has been, the democratic journey has been so far. Well, since you brought that, let me also compare these two systems of governance, the democratic government and then the military government. But don't forget that even at the time in the history of this country, we had what we call diarchy. Diarchy is a system where we have military president and civilian governors, if you recall. And a lot of trials and error in that era by the military government, hoping that they will earn the confidence of the people, of Nigerians. But the more they tried, the more it appears they were losing the confidence of Nigeria. In military government, yes, we say to an extent freedom is limited. But then what Nigerians wanted, even at the moment, was more of infrastructural development, rebooting of our economy, and a total abstinence from corruption, etc. If we have a robust government, an enlarged democratic system where everyone, senators, House of Rep members, House of Assembly members, are filling their pocket to eat brims, and the people who voted them to office are getting slimmer and dying by the day, what then do we say is governance? In military government, for instance, let us not forget that there are countries in Africa currently who are praising their military president for doing very well. I'm tempted not to mention the country because it's fantastic. You have helped me out. Now, they're praising their president, okay? And it is their wish that the military continue. Now, comparing what we had and what we have now, many Nigerians will wish that the military come back and sanitize the system.
I want to cue in something.
Because, yes.
I want to cue in something. Do you think Nigerians prefer... the issue is not democracy. Everyone is happy with the democratic system in which we have. It's the administrations that come into place. I think that's where the problem is.
The problem is leadership, yes, like you said. It's leadership. Because if our leaders had prioritized the interests of Nigeria against their personal ego, personal, insatiable, wishes to become emperors over their citizens, it would have been a different thing entirely. We have countries that are not as rich, as blessed, as naturally endowed as Nigeria, and they are doing better. Now, let us look, I have the levity to speak about each of these leaders that have come in since 2019 to date in the manner I want to speak, because the Constitution, particularly in Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution, I have the guarantee to speak, provided I don't speak what I cannot defend. And right now, I can tell you frankly, let us look at 1999.
Look at the leaders. So for you, which is the best administration?
For me, like I said earlier, if you recall, I tried to say that our friend Yaradua came in and I called him our friend, because that is the friend of the masses. That is the friend of the people. Within the short time he came on board, he was able to drastically, affect the well-being of Nigeria. Don't forget, Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution says that the well-being and security of Nigeria shall be the primary responsibility of every leader. He came in, fair price, brought down, dollar, everything, amnesty granted. Yes. He was trying to see how he can bring Nigerians together. And you see, good people don't last, they say. He has gone to commune with our forefathers. For me, he would have passed as one of the best presidents. Are we going to talk about Obasanjo, who came in from the prison with no money, and today he has one of the most thriving farm and library and everything? Where did he get all those money from? Are we going to talk about other presidents? Goodluck Jonathan, who was a lecturer, became deputy governor here, and today we know how flamboyant they are living? Or is it this Tinubu who is here now, that we are yet to chronicle his corruption? Maybe we'll just wait for 4 years. So for me, the best president that Nigeria would have had would have been Comrade Yaradua. I'm afraid I will not be able to call him Alhaji, because once you are the friend of the people, you are a comrade in the struggle. And so, but be that as it may, we are in a democratic experiment, and hopefully we will get it right. Election of Tinubu into the office of the president today was the total wishes of the people, the way it is now, because the court have said it, they have affirmed it, that he is a president. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing we can say anymore, because the court have said it.
Let's wrap up our conversation.
Yes, please.
The president did address the nation this morning, saying the reforms are meant to ensure that in future Nigerians will have access to economic potentials, opportunities, a country where nobody will be oppressed. Do you agree with Mr. President? Do you think he's sincere in what he's saying and his actions? Do they tally? Because right now, they promised us a lot of things: student loan, the CNG gas, refineries. None of them have truly come to pass. Can we trust him enough?
So you can use your tongue to count your teeth. That same question goes back to you. Can you trust a man who has promised so much and have not been able to deliver, and is making further promises?
Don't you think we should give him benefit of the doubt?
He has gotten enough benefit of the doubt. He has gotten enough benefit of the doubt. Now, for instance, we thought that Tinubu came in prepared. If you recall, May 29th, when he came on board, while giving his speech,